सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम. Yes, Renuji, you were saying about this duality.
Yes, I was just expressing my views that it is a challenge for us that we
Hmm.
have to become a yogi.
Yes, and there are so many distractions, isn't it?
Yes,
Distractions because of our configuration.
yes,
We have our indriyas, we have our mind. We can only understand with the mind, isn't it? Our mana can allow us to understand up to a particular aspect according to our logic, but our understanding. So, what do we do when things are beyond our understanding? Our mind tries to impose the restriction of our understanding on what is beyond. So, that limitation then prevents us from realizing. So anyway, let us continue. We are going to start with Raja Vidya. We're going to continue. Can someone recollect what is it that we saw yesterday? Anybody? Most welcome. We found the link. Yes, Dr. Swarupaji. All right. Please unmute and begin. Dr. Swarupaji, there is a lot of static distortion sound coming from your end. Even before the session, it was going on. Yeah. Now it has stopped. Hari Om. No, it is not clear, your voice. Some issue with your speaker, probably. Yeah, there seems to be some issue with your speaker. All right. Chaitanya ji, you were adding. We'll come to Dr. Swarupa ji probably when her issue is restored. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So yesterday we started and Shri Krishna said Adhyatma Vidya is about way of life, and we talked about verifying things that it is verifiable, but it is through the experience. So once you get the experience, you understand what all things have been said to you till you get that experience. When souls without Shraddha, they they don't progress on the path. They actually keep they get stuck into Maya, and they get stuck into that cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. They keep walking on a mundane path. Then Shri Krishna said that parts of my consciousness, I mean, they all leave me. They enter into this srishti. They go through that cycle and then again come to me. So this cycle keeps on going. And I am not being controlled by Prakriti. I am sitting detached, but yeah, I mean, whenever I decide to descend into the Prakriti, I choose to get bound by laws. So there are different forms of me, and they are all bound by laws of Prakriti. I mean, those manifestations, or you can say in the Srishti, they all are bound by laws of Prakriti. So sometimes you said that laws of Prakriti can be bent, but they cannot be broken completely. So that was there. Then there was a concept of Purush and Prakriti. So Purush is like, first Prakriti is like manifestation of creative spirit of the divine, and the Purush is actually the executive manifestation. So
No, Prakriti is the executive.
so Purush, how we
Purush is the creative spirit.
okay, so Purush is the creative spirit and Prakriti is the executive spirit.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Sorry, my bad.
No problem. Please go on. Ji, sir.
Okay. Uh, then yeah, he had said that because of limitations of logic of mind and or the attachment to the senses, it is difficult for mind to completely understand me in direct form. So but for higher souls, they contemplate, they meditate, and they, with full shraddha, they consecrate all their works to me, and they try to understand me. I mean, they aspire to know the full truth. uh, he had also said that I am the yajna. So we had talked about the sacrifice and yajna. So he said, I am the yajna, I am the ahuti, I am the one who is carrying that ahuti to me, and I am the one who is actually doing the yajna. So it's like he is the one who is carrying the all things in this. Then he had also talked about, yeah, sometimes our sadhana is based on some desires. So, but that does not help in long term, because it may be possible that you may achieve something, some siddhi, but eventually you may come back to the same cycle. If your aim was just to get some desire fulfilled, or just to get some siddhi. So this siddhi and everything, they maybe what he said, they are part of you may get this as a part fruits as a part of progressing on this path, but don't keep that as your final aim. Keep the aim as to be united with me.
Ji, absolutely, Chaitanya ji. That is beautifully said. So even this siddhis, what is siddhis? It is like an accomplishment. It is a perfection that is raised. A consciousness is raised. And Krishna is saying that here, seekers, seekers of the divine, many times have desires, isn't it? So with desires, we seek different things. But the problem is our desires have an expiry date. Most of the desires, they have a finite beginning and finite end. What I desire today will not be what I desire tomorrow. What I think right now is not something I think tomorrow. Today I may be thinking something which is something absolutely different from what I'm thinking tomorrow. Sometimes 10 years later, a complete difference. So there are so many changes. And when people seek the divine, Krishna has previously also said, he does not refuse sincere devotion. Why? Because devotion is a metaphysical aspect which allows a person to move ahead. Shraddha is something which is connecting us with the Chetana, an aspiration of what? A human trying to recognize the divine, a human aspiration which is raising the consciousness of man towards God. As now, like Jiddu Krishnamurti had also once said that man and like man, God and dog are one. Now, suddenly someone may interpret what is the meaning of this. It becomes very difficult. How is it? Well, on a different level, they are one, but that does not equally mean that this God and dog are equally same. So, what we call the interpretations of what is the highest truth, that is understood differently, but that depends on the nature of the mind. But the God or the realm of the divine is something which is beyond the mind. As we saw, manasastu para buddhi, yo buddhe paratastu saha. Means lowest level is the level of indriyas. Indriyas and higher than indriyas is the mind. Mind and indriyas, the flux of action reaction takes place. So based on what I understand, based on what I perceive, I try to establish. Like a question was asked about Brahman being heartless or whether he is having a heart. Now who is going to understand that completely? Someone who realizes the Brahman. We are free to add our attributes, as many attributes as you want. That would be our perception, isn't it? It is my perception. But what happens with my perception? My perception will govern my life. My perception will govern my actions. My perception will decide, as we saw in the case of ashraddha, means the person without shraddha. What happens? This shraddha is like we saw the case of an addict. What happens to the addict? It is desire-based gratification is everything for that. So what happens because of this Shraddha? The hope of an addict is what? To get the substance of addiction. That is the highest hope. An alcoholic will want, I want more alcohol. What will be the dream? He will not dream of world peace. He will not dream of oneness. He will not dream of universal harmony. He will dream of unlimited supply of alcohol. That will be the dream of an alcoholic. And what is going to happen then to such a person's life? Well, he will keep furthering there only. That objective will only, his actions also will be driven by the thoughts. And that is why, with Shraddha, when you are able to surrender the divine, you are able to pull yourself from one trap of Prakriti, which is also our logical mind. That is a big trap. Sometimes that is the trap which is preventing us from realizing God may be right in front of our eyes, that presence of the divine, but we will be oblivious to it because of our own preconceived notions, presumptions, and assumptions. But not just on the this path, on the addiction. We're saying even on the adhyatmic path, people have this because of Prakriti only. All of us have Prakriti, isn't it? Functioning inside of us. Each of us is governed by nature. So because of that nature, when we seek the divine, also sometimes we have aspirations and expectations of results, expectation of fruits. Krishna says that yes, those who are sincere, even if they expect they have done good karma, they will receive the fruits. But these fruits are finite. They might have done great works because they want to go to the Swarga Loka, but their journey is not complete. They have not completely understood the supreme truth of the Brahman. They have not yet realized moksha. So what will happen? They come back into the cycle, is what Krishna says. He says, we go to the 21st shloka. Tetam bhaktva swargalokam vishalam shine punye martyalokam vishanti. Evam traidharmam anuprapanna gata gatam kama kama labhante. Having enjoyed the rewards of the heavenly realm, with their good deeds exhausted, they return to the mortal realm. Seeking satisfaction to the prescribed Vedic virtues, they resort ultimately back to the cycle of birth and demise. They retort. But comes this beautiful shloka. Krishna says, Ananyashchintayanto mam ye janaha pariupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. This is an assurance of the divine. It says, but those seekers by whom I am integrally sought focus only on me in their every thought. To those whose consciousness is one with mine, to them I bring the prosperity divine. Krishna says those seekers who seek me integrally in all dimensions, in their karma, their jnana, their bhakti, there is no difference. Devotion, knowledge, action, all three. People sometimes, specialize on certain margas. This is my marga is marga of bhakti. So I will not walk on the other path. Is it possible to walk on one path independent of the other two paths? Anybody? The three margan, jnana, karma, and bhakti. Is it possible to completely walk on one path? Yes, Dr. Swarupaji.
No, they are interrelated, the paths.
They are
They are
interrelated,
intertwined with each other.
intertwined with each other. They are intersecting at every point. If we decide to, no, I believe only in bhakti, so I do not want knowledge, what's going to happen? We are going to deny ourselves the opportunity to raise our consciousness in a particular dimension. Same, those who are in knowledge only, no, but I don't believe in bhakti. I'll read all the, Upanishadic scriptures. I will write down notes and commentaries on the Upanishadic scriptures, but I will not understand the central aspect of the Upanishad. What is that? Again, it is talking about the same. The bhakti is important. It is a shraddha is important. At least, actually, that is the first thing. Nobody realizes that Upanishads cannot be read just like that. Like when you go abroad, you need a passport, isn't it? And a visa. Something like that. For the entry into the kingdom of Brahma Vidya, you need a guru's diksha. Because that will open the doors to the realm which is higher than the mind. And how we can surrender to the mind? Only if we have a place where we can surrender it, isn't it? Otherwise, we will be lost in what we call mental gymnastics. Sri Aurobindo would use that term. Many times you can go on. Some of the questions Sri Aurobindo had got were very funny. One of the sadhak had asked a certain question which made him remark that now next, I cannot be expected to understand how many and tell you how many fishes are there in the sea. Because now this is not a seeking question. No, it is a gymnastics. It is just going in circles. Instead, a seeking question is when it goes higher and higher and deeper. And if you see the Upanishads, they're all going in different ways, but trying to pierce the concept of the Brahman. The Kathopanishad goes through the way of a story. Prashna Upanishad goes through the way of questions. Kena Upanishad again. What is it? Let us understand the Brahman. Who is it that brought about the fall? Who was the first one? That Ishavasya Upanishad goes in another different route. So each of these are going in different directions to pierce the same central concept. But again, here Shraddha is required. Otherwise, what is knowledge without Shraddha? It is like a very fertile soil without water. What will grow there? Nothing can grow there. And then against karma. I have a lot of knowledge, I have a lot of bhakti, but I don't have an inclination to do karmas. Will it make any difference without karma? We cannot. So this is the integral approach where all three, jnana, karma, bhakti, are going to be integrated. And Krishna says, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana pariyupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam. Nitya yukta. At all times, they are connected with the divine. Every action, at all actions, means if they are consecrated, whichever action you are doing, if you are connected with the divine, Krishna says, Yoga Kshemam Vaham Yaham. This promise of Krishna, what does this mean? It means so many things to so many people. And once I got saved by this shloka, because during COVID time, one participant had asked me a question. Because we talk about not having fear, being fearless. COVID time, there was fear in the atmosphere, in the psyche of the entire consciousness, isn't it? In the entire globe, everybody. And that was naturally reflecting in the Gita Varga also. So this person, I know she was a widow from her personal life. I had come to know. She had lost her husband to cancer. And she said, I got fever and I got afraid. What will happen to my kids if something happens to me? Is this wrong? Am I not supposed to have this fear? Anybody? Could you answer that question? This was the most difficult question I had ever received, actually. Yes? Anyone?
This is mother's worry for her children.
Yes. And can anybody say it's wrong?
No, it cannot be wrong.
Yeah, and how can I stand in her shoes and tell her, don't you fear, don't. I was myself bold. I can say, oops, what is this? I actually closed my eyes and thought, Krishna, please help me. And I just told her, Maji, madam, this shloka comes to mind. I cannot stand in your shoes, but this is the shloka and this is the meaning. Ananya Shintayanto mam ye jana pariyupasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yoga kshemam vaham. And when I told her, and then I asked her, does this anyway relate to you? She said yes. And then I was surprised. I said, how? How do you say? Then she said, I realized that if something does happen to me, still that yoga kshemam vamyam is a promise that there is someone who is going to look after. The divine will take care. I don't have to add to my anxiety and worry, assuming something wrong happens. Fortunately, she was all right. Though we had some people who did not make it through due to the COVID, that times the pandemic was quite strong. But she went through. But she said that fear went away. And she said that was one aspect. And then we remembered, yes, look at Sant Jnaneshwar and his siblings. You see, it was very wrong. Scriptural interpretation was made by some of the Shastris, and they said you children are children of sannyasi, so your parents have no right to exist. Then the parents were so much disturbed and troubled that they said, if we end our lives, will you let our children be free? And they said, that is the only way, Dehanta Prayashchit for you, for whatever you have done. And that is a very sad story, a very sad occurrence also, event. And how everybody allowed it to happen is another question. Fortunately, such a day will not come again. But this parents ended their lives with the hope that at least my children will get a good life. But you know what? The people, again, they did not stand by their words. They did not give the respect or even treat even the food for the children. One would wonder what would happen to such children, not getting chance to learn, not getting food, not getting completely ostracized from the society. How will such children grow, and what will these children become? Already they had the very bad tag of what we call children of sannyasi on their heads. But look at them, who looked after them? Well, they say the divine only looked after them, and their names are taken before the names of the divine. Jnanoba Mauli, then Tukaram. Jnanoba's name is taken first. When people go on the Wari, now there are different bhajans where they sing all the names of the siblings first. How they grew, and they grew with a realization, and the divine was watching over them. That was their realization. I have a friend, an orphan, we can say Anath, but he is not Anath completely because he says divine are parents. He has got divine parents. And today he has started a village for those with special needs. And he's looking after all of them. Who looked after him? Who gave him that direction? How did he complete his education? He did complete his education, his UG, his PG. Somebody gave him a small barren land, some acres of barren land, which he utilized for setting up a village. And today it is a big foundation. So this aspect, yoga kshemam vaham yaham, is a promise made by whom? Promise made by Krishna. To whom? To those who have surrendered. And this is an experience for many who have surrendered to Krishna. They have felt that, yes, his words are not in vain, and our love for him does not go waste. This realization has come to so many. Very recently, I met one very wonderful person. She's also just recently joined this group also, Usha ji. She has got stroke 19 years ago. Can anybody say God is beautiful or thank you for that stroke? That stroke rendered 50%. She's not able to move properly at all because of it. Will anybody say God is good because of that? Or it's a good event? An aneurysm leading to partial paralysis. That time it was almost fatal also at that particular moment if treatment was not given. Anybody? What would you say to such a God who has given that? Ramesh ji, yes sir.
I would say karma made me suffer, made one suffer.
Sorry sir?
Karma made one suffer.
No, yes, but we do not know what karma this person in her. Those who know her as a wonderful person who has not done any bad karma in this life. But we're not looking at the karmic angle because nobody will be able to exactly identify what are the karmas that we cannot see, isn't it? But if we want to look at God, would we call God a loving God or we'll say heartless God for
You
this
would probably
action?
be frustrated. Why have I got this?
Yeah, we'll say, oh, what a heartless God who's given me stroke for no reason. See how many years I have to suffer pain. But you see, that is our point of view. Go and ask the person, Pratyaksha, who has got the Anubhav, that person can give the realization, isn't it? You ask her, what is it? She called it a stroke of luck. And she's saying thank you for that. She says, I met so many of my family relatives. At 72, she has released her first book. And she's called it Child and Her Experiences with Krishna. And she says, if it was not for the stroke, I would never have got this relation with Krishna. And people had goosebumps reading her book. How is she talking to Krishna and how is he responding? Or what is this? Everybody are trying to understand. A small book, but very powerful book. What is it again? It is the realization of whom? And if you ask her everything, she says, Krishna Arpanam. I've surrendered to Krishna. Let him do whatever he wants. This is the aspect. This is the beautiful aspect. And Krishna's promise, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. This is understood by those who have experienced it. If we have not experienced it, I think we need to try and experience it as well. It is definitely what I can say, a lived experience of many, including myself. I did not know what was going to happen, but I knew it will not be anything to worry. When I joined my teacher, I left my engineering. A lot of people said it was a waste of life. What have you done? What a waste it is. Now, looking back, that time also I didn't think it was wrong. Now also I don't think it is wrong. And I don't think something very bad has happened. Instead, a good experiences come and learning and growing is happening. It continues lifelong. But where you have to, I think, uh, when you want to get taken care of, what should you do first thing? You have to surrender, isn't it? You're going under the aegis of someone, under the protection of somebody. What will happen? You have to take surrender. If you take asylum seekers, when people leave one country, what do? Sharanagati only, isn't it? They take refuge. Can they just stand in between on the border? We don't know. Both armies might shoot. If you stand on the border, which person is neither here nor there? Who is he? Is he trying to infiltrate? Instead, you take that Sharanagati, that is the simple thing. But otherwise, that will not happen. So that is why this is a very powerful shloka. Interestingly, one organization has taken a verse of this shloka as its motto. Yoga Kshemam Vaham Yaham. Anybody has heard of it?
Yes, it is the insurance company, life insurance company.
It's an insurance company, isn't it? So they are taking responsibility of Yoga Kshema of everybody. Well, we do not know. They are talking about returns and policies when they mature, and many times these returns are not fulfilled under certain clauses. So their Yogakshemam, maybe it's up to the individual. But this divine one, he is not, Krishna is not saying, come, come, take my policy. You want to take it, it's up to you. You subscribe or you don't, it's up to you. It is your choice. Krishna is not forcing anything. We are not forced to obey or forced to agree with Krishna. We are free to disagree as well. So Krishna says, those who are seeking integrally, all three margas are no more different for such a person. They are taken care of after they take the shelter. He goes on further. Yepi anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvitaha tepi mameva kaunteya yajantya vidhipurvakam. Even those who offer to other godheads sacrifice to me, for by coming to me only, their sacrifices can fulfilled be. As their devotion and faith are pure and without flaw, I receive them, though they offer not as per the true law. So it's all right. The vidhi may be changed. This person may not fully understand, but he says, I see the Shraddha is sincere. It may be offered to Anya Devata also, another god. They don't see, I don't like Krishna. So many people say that, I don't like Krishna. It's all right. Whom do you like? Offer to that. Offer to your Ishta. Offer to your Aradhya. And Krishna says, see, they ultimately come to me because only when they come to me, they will become complete. And he says, it's all right. It's all right. I accept all prayers, even if they may not be perfectly done, as long as the sincerity and Shraddha is there. They are full of Shraddha and without flaw. It's actually as if Shraddha is something magical. And I've heard a scientist who is supposedly very, what we can say, one of the top scientists in the world. He is talking about his Shraddha for Mahadev as the entire reason he has published n number of papers in the most top peer-reviewed journals. How is it possible? Did Mahadev come and write the paper? Or did Mahadev send his Trishul on the peer reviewers? You better review it or I will immediately. No, it was not that. He had an experience. He had an experience, and that experience kept on getting what we can say reconfirmed. It means Shraddha is what? Shraddha is a realization which gets reconfirmed with time. Shraddha does not shake, Shraddha does not change. But this realization is very, very important. Krishna says, if Shraddha is there, everything is all right. Sincerely, what you offer, I will accept. Whichever way. You say, I believe Krishna has two horns. He'll say, yes, I may give you a darshana also, and I will receive your prasada. I'll receive your offering. Sri Rama was Maryada Purushottama, isn't it? So many vidhis, such what we can say austerity at all times. What did Shabri give him? Anybody? What was given by Shabri? Yes, Aditi ji.
Yeah, she gave him bear
Bear. And
and
just not just bear, isn't it? They were
pre-tasted.
हाँ pre-tasted. हाँ ये अच्छा है. Shri Ram will like it. Lakshmana would have got, what is this? Or Anjaneya would have been looking at it. Oh my God, how is it? What is this? But no, this was complete. He could understand the Shraddha of this mother. It was not incomplete because she tasted it. Later on, her entire life, her guru had told her, protect your body, old lady. Sri Rama will come to you. And Drishtva Raghavam Deham Dagdva Yasasi Tat Padam. And you will reach the highest status on getting the darshan of Raghava. And she did get it. And here it was love. And that is important. That is the important ingredient. If that is missing, I think not everything is missing, isn't it? If that is missing, best relationship but no love. Can it be best relationship then? No. A work done without love is a half-hearted work or heartless work, we can say. Nothing in it. Nothing in it. Where is the love? Love is not there, it will not complete. But when love is there, it gets complete. That's what Krishna is talking about. He goes on. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha natu mama vijananti tatve natash chavanti te. For every sacrifice performed, I am the enjoyer. The overlord of sacrifices, I am the true receiver, but they know not my truth fundamental, and in their growth, this is detrimental. I am the one receiver, is what Krishna is saying. For every yajna, for every prarthana, for every prayer that is offered, Krishna says, I am the receiver. They all come to me only. But what happens to those who do not know or do not realize this? Well, they cannot grow. That is all Krishna is saying. He's not saying, I'll curse you because I got insulted, you did not consider me, or you did not remember my name. He does not bother about that at all. It is our the bhaktas have to, it is their prerogative, not the divine prerogative. But this knowledge that they are one will allow us to raise our consciousness. But if we don't realize, what's going to happen? Bheda will come, no? Bheda in sadhana also. There is a bhed between Vaishnava and Shaivas. There is bhed between one religion and another religion. There is bhed between one person's path, another's path. Mine is better, mine is the supreme path, better path than yours, and most of the troubles are happening. Why is that bhed there? Well, it is the problem. The growth of consciousness has not taken place. And that is detrimental. It's not because some curse, divine curse coming from the sky, lightning striking a person and making him suffer. It is this approach. I remember Damleji had asked me to go and get Bilva Patras. Unfortunately, we don't have Bilva trees anywhere in the cities, no? So the only place I could have got it was in a temple dedicated to Shiva. But in a hurry, I went to the wrong temple because there were two temples nearby. One was what we call in Tamil Nadu in Pondicherry, it is called Perumal Koil, which is the Vishnu, and one more is the Shiva temple. So when I went and asked, Amma, Bilva Patra, Irka, do you have Bilva Patra? She looked at me like I have done blasphemy. She looked at me like this. I said, sorry, this is Perumal Koil. How can you come in very sharp words in Tamil? She was saying, this is Perumal Koil. How dare you come here? And I was like, okay, sorry. I'll go. I just said sorry very sincerely and went to the next place and got the Bilva Patra. I did not try telling her. In our Perumal only has said Rudra Nam Shankaras Chasmi in the Gita. She would have got more irritated. But you see what has happened? There is a bhed no, in her mind. She's not able to say that. And basically, I wanted it for medicinal purpose at that time. And for her, it is only the bhed which was visible everywhere. And many times in our life, this happens. There are fights, people get into fights, physical fights. My God is stronger. My God can throw your God in a wrestling match. Who is going to watch that wrestling match? Bhaktas are going to eat popcorn while the gods battle. No, but people do that, and that bhed is the problem that prevents a growth in consciousness. That is where stunted growth of adhyatmic growth of an individual happens. That is something must be avoided. Krishna says, all go to the one place. Forget this higher, lower. This god is superior. These are demigods which are inferior. We are not. For us, everybody is superior to us, isn't it? Can we say primary school teacher is less important than a higher secondary school teacher? No, each of them are so important. Take out the primary school education, you are not capable of receiving that. So, what is your foundation? What is your base? How can you forget that? How can you forget where you are from? Just because, no, now I have thrown that behind me. No, it's not. You cannot throw your foundation. Same is the case. And that is something Krishna is talking about. He goes on, he says, Yanti devavrata devan pitrun yanti pitruvrataha bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti madhya jinopimam. To the abode of the deities go the god worshippers, worshippers of the divine ancestors, to the realms of the ancestors, performers of the sacrifice to the spirit, to the elements they enjoin. But my worshippers, to me they come and directly join. Means we have seen in Prayana Kala what happens. Whatever is the focus of your imagination, focus of your thought, focus of your consciousness, that is where you go. So those who are focusing in their sadhanas towards the Pitar, they will enjoy in the Pitar Loka. Those who are from like the tantrics, working, offering everything to the spirits, they become one with the spirits. The worshippers of certain deities, they go towards that dream. They go towards that path which they have chosen in their sadhana. But he says, but those who seek me in the sense, who is this me? The supreme divine Krishna is talking about. He's not saying only with my Chaturbhuj Roop will come to my Chaturbhuj Roop, Vishwaroop will come to my Vishwaroop. No, he's just one. Those who are seeking the divine without any expectations or anything, they will come to me is the simple statement that Krishna is making, which is very clear to understand. He goes on further. He says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadham bhaktyoparutam ashnami prayatatmanaha. This is a beautiful shloka. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. He who offers with devotion a leaf, a fruit, or a flower, or even a singular cup of water. When the offering is with love replete, it is to me acceptable and complete. Krishna says, love is the important ingredient to make the offering complete. How is it complete? With love only. Whether you offer patra, pushpa, phala, toya, and a glass of water, whom do we give? Even a stranger, isn't it? Even a stranger we can offer. And Krishna says, वो भी चलेगा, पर थोड़ा प्रेम से दे देना. I will take it. Offer it with love is what he's saying. This is actually one aspect which will allow us to transcend some of the limitations that we assign on ourselves. But all the same, this shloka is misinterpreted by many people. Because Krishna said, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Why should I go and pluck 21 leaves? Why should I go and do? I will just take whatever leaf is available and Krishna take. Is that right? Can we ridicule the scriptures? Can we ridicule the Shastras? They all have a reason, isn't it? Yes or no? The rituals also have a purpose. They have a significance. But what is the central aspect? It is the love. When you are in Shraddha, Krishna will ensure you follow it. Krishna will ensure that the Shastra also, sometimes Shastras will confirm your what yours according to your Shraddha afterwards. Ramleji was doing a particular mantra Purusharan and for some reason he was not able to complete it. So much difficulty, so many mantras japa he had done and he wanted to complete it. It was a what we call Anusthana, one great sankalpa taken that I will complete it. And he was very young. But something happened and he was not able to complete it and he rushed to his guru's feet. He rushed to his guru and he said he could not complete. But his guru touched his head and said, Nay, nay, it is complete, it is complete. Now, when guru says it's complete, it is complete, isn't it? It becomes complete. Now, look at this beautiful realization. At that time, first thought he came, why he has said like that? But Guru has said, and immediately he remembered that the Shastra speaks about punya of a mantra japa done by the river stream. It has a particular, he remembered some verses. If you do by the river stream, it is up to this into these many times. If you sit under the Audumbar tree, it has another, what we can say, significance. If you are looking at the tantric significance. And all those verses, he said, how did he remember it exactly at that time after his guru touched his head? And he was like, yes, my guru has told, and Shastra also has confirmed what I understood. This is what happens. We are not fighting Shastras, we are trying to understand the spirit of the Shastras, and there is no Dvandva. Dvandva comes into our life, we understand there's some issue. We have misinterpreted. That supreme truth has been distorted somewhere. When the distortion is removed, yoga is there, oneness is realized. So here Krishna says it's all right. One is offered. You can always offer with love and devotion. It will become complete, is what he says. But that should not be a case for our laziness. Use it for laziness, out of laziness. I don't know, it's with love. That's so many things we do, isn't it? We trouble our dear ones also, and then we say out of love. That's a very funny dialogue. I remember teasing my friends so much when I was young in school. I did not know the bad side effect it was having. I thought I was playfully teasing him. And then when I told him out of love only, I did it. He got so angry that don't use that word. You were teasing me just for the sake of it, for the fun of it. It was not love. And he was right there. So I did apologize to him. Chalo, theek hai, I will not tease you anymore. But this aspect, when we are offering with Shraddha, Patra, Pushpa, Phala, Toya, let it be offered. And Krishna says, even if it is offered, a single leaf is offered, a single fruit is offered. He's not even saying whether it is Tulsi or Bilva. He says, offer it with love. It will become complete. That is an important aspect. He says further, Why just offering? When you have united with the divine, can there be special moments when we are not connected with the divine? Out of network, divine is out of network area. In these moments, can we classify any such moments? No, isn't it? One person had asked, after reading Gita, can we go to celebrate? Can I go to party? Can I go to, if I'm going to go next week for a family tour, can we or can we not? Yes, isn't it? Take Krishna with you. That is all he's saying. Isn't it? You enjoy also life, but with the presence of the divine, nothing wrong will happen. Nothing wrong will happen when you are with the divine. People have experienced that. Why do we want to take divine away? Are I'm eating an ice cream, share it with the divine. Let him also enjoy the flavor of it. He is only the creator. Let his presence be felt. This is not for him, it is for us, for a heightened consciousness. And that's what Krishna says. He says, Yat karoshi yat ashnasi yat juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasya kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Krishna is for the first time. You see, it took 8 adhyayas. In the 9th adhyay, Krishna is telling madarpanam because Arjuna has transformed. Till first few adhyayas we saw, isn't it? Arjuna was a skeptic. All his questions were questions not of a seeker. They were doubting questions, questions of doubt. Only in 8th adhyay did we see a transformation. He said, how do I understand you? And after Arjuna has expressed or realized, then only Krishna says, this is for you, I am imparting this knowledge. So it may not be for somebody who has no Shraddha. It may not mean. But for Arjuna, he is saying this. He says, your sacrifice, your enjoyment, and your every action, all your austerities, offerings, and your every donation, channel your soul's efforts and inner will. Let all your offerings be as per my divine will. This is let it be Madarpanam, Krishnarpanam. Or one participant had previously shared, Twadiyam Vastu Govindam Tubhyam Eva Samarpayet. This is the prayer. She says, I know only one prayer and I do it every time. Whatever work is happening, whatever I'm thinking, anything I do, I just say this one prayer. Twadiyam Vastu Govindam Tubhyam Eva Samarpayet. That object given by you, everything that is given by you, I offer it to you only. Oh divine, oh Govinda, Tera tujhko arpan kya lage mera. This is, people say, oh, what a great prayer. But it's actually a very logical and simple prayer to escape from a lot of karma bandhanas, isn't it? Kya lage mera, koi karma bandhan lagega nahi when you have offered to the divine. It's like you can eat all the junk food and still not have any increase in calories. And if everybody would look for that magic formula or how it will happen. Well, this is like that. You'll do karma, but you will not have karma bandhana when you offer it to the divine. That is why Krishna is saying, offer it to me. Whatever enjoyment you're doing, your sadhana also, your whatever sadhana you're doing, any action that you are doing, any dana that you are doing, do it with the additional aspect of offering to the divine. That is a central aspect of the yajna also. Agneya swaha, agneya idanna mama. Suryaya swaha, suryaya idanna mama. Na mama, not me. Belongs to the divine. I offer it. It's not mine. This aspect, this bhava is essential to be cultivated for bhaktas. Krishna says such a person transcends everything. Shubha shubha phalairevam moksha se karma bandhanaihi sannyasa yoga yuktatma vimukto mamupaishyasi. From good and evil you shall attain liberation, and from the bonds of karma you shall attain dissolution. With your soul engaged purely in my consecration, you shall be free and experience my realization. Krishna says, with this bhava, as you proceed, you will become mukta. You will become free. What is this freedom? We are all in a free country only, isn't it? But are we free? Recently, a very young, dynamic person, that person shared, last 2-3 months, I have not been able to sleep at peace. I was very surprised. Why? What? Then some big backstory was there. But it was something which could have been easily avoided. But in so many ways, we have so many bandhanas, isn't it? I have one aspiration, situation of life is like this, another person is putting something, one more side of pressure is coming, another person is emotionally blackmailing. What's happening? Our entire life is like full of so many bandhanas. And then in that we add more bandhanas with adding more desires. Initially we say dil hai chota sa, choti si asha. Small ashas are all right. Let me add it. Let me add it. So what are we doing? Asha pasha shatair baddha moha jala samahutta means that 100 bonds of desire are trapping us. The hero is being trapped. That is happening. And Krishna says, you will become free when you offer to the divine. It's all right. What's going to happen? Well, what has to happen will happen. Let the divine take care of that. Let me focus on my action, success or failure, praise or criticism, victory, defeat, irrespective of the outcome. If I focus on my action, if I focus on my karma, what's going to happen? Well, if you focus on your karma, what will happen? The karma will be perfect only, isn't it? So the karma will have a karma phala, but you are not concerned with the karma phala. That will ensure you are not you're not attached to what your desires are, and you're completely grounded. For some reason, something doesn't happen, will not break you. It will not shake you. You will be in a balance, you will be free. And that is what Krishna is saying. You shall be free and you will experience my realization. And your soul is in that state. I have seen people in the most difficult moments of life smiling. I couldn't understand why they were smiling initially. Then I understood, yes, that is because such a person is free. Vitaraga bhaya krodha stitadir muniruchyate is what Krishna has told. Free of anger, free of desire, free of fear. That person is considered to be the Muni, the awakened sage, the one with the Sthita Prajna. And Krishna says, you will get free. And I think we all need that in our life, isn't it? Our Vivek Buddhi is Jagrut, then only we can take right decisions. Otherwise, wrong decisions are always taken because of the emotions. We need to be able, it is called the Sat Asat Vivek Buddhi. Ability to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong. That happens with the awakening of the Prajna. And how will it awaken? When we raise our consciousness. When we raise our, there are so many ways. And the simplest way is Krishna Arpanam, offer to the divine. Krishna goes on. He says, Samoham sarvabhuteshu na me dveshosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham. To all beings I am disposed with equanimity. For towards all I am impartial, bereft of acerbity. Those who see with devotion, means who are realizing it and also having the bhakti, both a holy communion, I reside in them and they dwell in my union. Oneness is there in such people when they realize. We saw, I think Manisha ji shared some beautiful photos of the Alipur jail. Inside of a jail, he got the experience of the divine. That was the greatness of Sri Aurobindo. How is it possible? 6 by 9 feet, a small dingy cage. How can you realize the divine? Well, if he can realize it there, I don't think there's no need. We cannot realize in our homes. We have a larger place to realize that way, isn't it? Outer comfort is more than that. Should that be a hurdle or should that be a good thing for us, an easier option for us? It might be less difficult for us if we try and aspire sincerely. And that's what Krishna is saying. He said, I'm equally present. Many times we try to push the gods and saints far away from us. He is different or she is different. No, don't tell about Radha. Radha was a different case from childhood. Mine is absolutely different. That's not the case. The divine is equidistant from all. And the one who is teaching us not to have dvesha, will he have dvesha? I don't like Krishna. One person said, I don't know, I'm a little afraid of Krishna now while reading the Gita. I said, why? In anger, I had broken his murti. He was afraid, is what he said. I said, oh my God, we just studied Vishwarupa. So you have broken the Vishwarupa. You have become so powerful. He said, he said no. I said, that murti you have done. You are having prayashchit. That itself is your realization for you. I have done wrong. That itself is for you greatest. You are feeling guilty about it. You're feeling bad about it. Ask forgiveness and move ahead. I'm sure you will not do that again, isn't it? But even if you do, you are going to break the murti. You're not going to break the divine. And he realized that, yes, and that was a realization. That's the problem. Many people, when they try to break so many invaders, they try to break the temples, isn't it? Why? The temple is the murti is what? A pratik, isn't it? Of the supreme divine. They are not understanding it. You break 100 murtis, we will make 100,000 murtis. And who will break the murti that is inside of our heart? Nobody can touch. Anjaneya was asked, where is divine? Somebody said, how is he inside your heart? He said, I'll show you. He had that siddhi, he had that bala. So he gave a darshan of Sri Ram and Sita Maya right in his heart. And that skeptic fell on the knees. Why? The Sakshatkar came. So this aspect is there. And Krishna says, I am present, equidistant from everybody. Those who praise me, those who criticize me, it doesn't matter for me. I'm still available at the same distance from all. And I don't have hatred. But those who are able to see, with Shraddha, those who are able to see this, they're able to, have the Shraddha in their hearts. Krishna says, I am in them and they are in me. They are in the Krishna's consciousness and Krishna's consciousness is in them. It is said every time a study of wherever Krishna's study goes on, Krishna himself comes to attend and listen because his consciousness, where it is, he comes to experience it. And that is one experience we must have. When we take the Gita to study, we must ask Krishna to sit next to us. Come, help me. Let us read. Let us read and you teach me. Why? You will teach only Arjuna. I'm not that special. This shloka tells you. You can also hold the shloka against him and say, hey, this shloka you have told, you are equally available. So you must be equally available to me. And probably then the Gita will become even more simpler. It will become some other great life secrets will be realized. But that is required. Yaha pashyati, saha pashyati. Krishna says, Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva cha mantavya samyak vyavasito hi saha. Even the most evil amongst men can transform me. When with love and soul they turn towards me. Krishna has said that earlier also. The power of knowledge is like that. It will burn. Bhasmasat kurute Arjuna. Nahi jnanena sadrusham. Pavitram na vidyate. Nothing higher than that. So when the evil person also suddenly has a change of heart, the awakening, what's going to happen? All barriers will be broken. Krishna is saying such a person can also get transformed, meaning hope of transformation is there in every living being. Let us stop denying it just because we don't like some people. These people are like this only, as if we are Nostradamus. We can predict the entire life of another person. We cannot say that. Let us throw away the dvesha, but also realize that even most evil person can get transformed when with love and soul they turn towards me. Krishna says further, for when his adverse nature and will he has conquered, that changed being, even as a saint, can be considered. Somebody who conquers the adverse nature. Means each of us is born with one nature, isn't it? There are good things and there are bad things. And if you can overcome, some people have an adverse nature which overpowers the good nature. It is difficult then for such people to transform. But if they transform, they can become sadhus also very easily. Like there was one friend in my class. No matter what, he would not get irritated in school. So much that, chalo, I have to make him irritated. I felt it was my God-given responsibility, is what I assumed. Let us now irritate him and get some reaction from him. But no, he was Tita Pragnya in class 11 only. I don't know how. So I asked him, I got tired actually. I said, I've been trying to irritate you for so much time. You didn't get irritated. He just laughed, no, I don't get irritated. I was like, wow, this fellow is lucky. What is this? People like me and some other friends were very cranky, easily getting irritated. We're like, what is this? When will we learn to transform? Well, Krishna says if we can transform our adverse nature, then what happens? Ratnakar becomes Maharshi Valmiki, the exalted Valmiki. The dacoit has become the great Rishi. How is this? This is transformation. So this is the challenge. This is what the sadhana is about. Sadhana is about transformation of our adverse nature. And if you can transfer, there's no difference. Transform your nature, There is no difference between you and a sage, is what Krishna is saying. Probably that barrier has also been placed in our life for bringing about a transformation if we realize it. The adverse nature also must be overcome. Krishna says, then what happens? Then it is fast. Then the rapid progression happens. Rapid transformation. Shipram bhavati dharmatma. The one who has overcome his adverse nature is worthy of being called a dharmatma also. Shipram bhavati dharmatma. Shashvat shantim nigacchati. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktaha pranashyati. This is the promise of Krishna. This is a promise which is very special to so many bhaktas. His soul then gets purified with a divine haste, and in my ethereal peace he shall then awake. O Arjuna, this promise to all my lovers I make. Your love for me shall not go waste. Krishna says, your love will not go waste. This is something which has to be realized. And the transformation is rapid transformation. When the heart melts, that what we can say, the entire burden of sanskaras are broken suddenly by one moment sometimes. Sometimes it just requires one moment. The entire burden that you are carrying in life will suddenly disappear. Your adverse nature also, why do you have to behave this? Nobody should make you behave like that, isn't it? Because of this, how many things, how many moments are we going to carry on our head? But when that moment of transformation comes, Krishna says, then the person has understood the path, the boulder has broken, the door has opened, a new direction, a new journey, and that is going to happen at God's speed. The haste, the purification process takes place. Suddenly, from one, where was this person? How did he become? Giri became Totakacharya. The way he became Totakacharya was also special. Everybody felt he's not so smart, he's not capable of anything. And suddenly, Guru Krupa, one day, he starts composing a great Ashtakam, which is in the difficult Totaka meter, and that day onwards, it is the moment of transformation, and he goes ahead. All his years, he had been serving his Guru sincerely. It never went waste. People thought, what will happen of him? Later on, he became Mathadipati. It was very afterwards with his Guru's Ashirvad. This aspect is something which is very important. He goes on further. He says, Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepi syuhu papayonayaha striyo vaishya tatha shudras tepi yanti param gatim. Krishna says, Oh Arjuna, all those who seek refuge in me, means everybody who seeks refuge, even if in a womb of sin born they may be, the wretchedly ostracized, downtrodden, men or women, they all attain to me. To their sincere calls, I hearken. He says, I listen to all the calls, wherever they are. Draupadi gave a call, isn't it? In the middle of the court. She did not do it earlier. He would have come earlier if she had made the call. But that moment, she did not think of it until that moment. And Krishna says, wherever they may be. Sometimes people, what is the meaning here? Because people say, Papa Yonaya. People say, what is the meaning of this Papa Yonaya? Again, this is also a very distorted shloka by so many people. What is Krishna talking about? Well, a person who is born in a place, like say a terrorist home, is it a good fortune or is it a bad fortune for a child born there?
It is a bad fortune.
It is a bad fortune, isn't it? But Krishna says, even there, if the call is made, the outer situation may be different. The outer situation may not be good, but the chance is there. The chance for transformation is there for every single person, wherever they may be. The ostracized ones, the downtrodden ones. Sometimes people are unjustly sent away. They are sent away from their homes. Some are earlier days, they used to send people away from the society also. Krishna says, even those, anybody, anywhere, in the most unfortunate places also. That is the bhavartha of this shloka. Most unfortunate place, most unfortunate situation also. He says, I listen, I hearken to the calls, to their calls, and they will attend to me. I listen to their call. The mother of Sri Aurobindo Ashram has said, rare is the one who hears the call Rarer is the one who heeds to it. Because we don't feel like giving the call only, isn't it? No matter what happens, we are still lost in our own world. We don't feel like calling, but Krishna says, wherever the call is made, I will come. I come is what he says. Kim punar brahmanaha punya bhakta rajarshayasthatha anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvaman. What then to speak of the Brahma seeker and the most devoted sages, regal and fine? This transient and sorrowful world's every dweller can channel their love to seek the divine. Krishna is saying, we're talking about difficult situation. Arey, look at what about, even in the worst moment it will work. Then what about those who are already nice people, who are sadhus, who are engaging in yoga? What about the Rajarishis? What about those Brahma seekers? Krishna is saying definitely. And he says every living person in this transient world, this is a transitory world, isn't it? We are spiritual beings in a human experience. Our human experience is going to change, isn't it? We already went through childhood. Now we are youth. And afterwards, the old age will come. But it's an entire cycle. Well, Krishna is saying every dweller in this transient world can channel their love to seek the divine. This is a beautiful aspect. If you can learn to channel your love to the divine will be the best distributor also. Many times what happens, I gave my love to this person, he did not, he broke my heart. He did like this, she did like that. These feelings come into our minds. Instead, go to the vetting authority, offer to the divine, and the divine will channel it to the right place, to the right time. One participant shared her beautiful experience in this adhyaya only, and we were talking about offering everything. She said, I would always offer everything to the divine, but there was one time I did not. I had a big struggle to offer. What was it? She said, there was this person I liked a lot. And every time I would say, whatever Krishna, whatever, I accept whatever you wish. But here I did not, what if Krishna wishes something else was the biggest doubt. So it's like, I did not want to say it. I didn't want to say the prayer. She just, because she was going for an important moment, she was going to talk to him and then probably he was going to talk to her parents. And she would say, if Krishna you wish, it will go ahead. If you wish. That was her prayer every time when she went. But this time with great difficulty and heavy tongue, she did utter that dialogue finally. But if it is not also, it's okay, is what the second part of her line. The second part was very difficult. If it is not also, it's I will accept your will. That was something she didn't want to say, but she said it. She felt very bad saying it. She was afraid. But she says now, 20 years down the line, she's sharing her experience. She says everything went very nicely only, and what had to happen perfectly happened. She was very grateful, and she says, Krishna ensured I am with that person only. But I was willing for that moment. It was difficult to let go, but I was willing to let go my love for the beloved also. This is what Krishna is talking about. Channel your love to seek the divine. He says, love will not go waste. It will not go waste. Because is love a barter? I give you 4 kilo love, return. No, isn't it? It is always one direction. It's always one direction. And the beautiful aspect is it is itself, as the mother says, a singular emotion which is capable of catalyzing human evolution that can become. But what happens there? There the mishram happens. Mishranam. What happens? The mixture. Mixture of what? Insecurities, desires, frustrations, expectations, all of this. So what happens? What do you have to do? You have to purify it. How will you purify? Offer to the divine first. And through the divine, it will be channeled to the right place and right time. And Krishna says, whatever moments you're having, all of them can be channeled to the divine. That's what Krishna says. Then he goes on further. We'll look at this shloka and we'll stop. Interestingly, this is the 34th shloka of the 9th adhyaya. You will hear a 75% same shloka in the 18th adhyaya also. But the tide would have turned by then in the 18th adhyaya. And the shloka, though having 75% same words, its meaning will be very different. Why? What will just 2-3 words make a difference? Well, context is everything. And that context is going to be different. But let us see now, and we'll see if anybody remembers it when it comes in the 18th adhyaya. मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी माम नमस्कुरु मामे वैशसि युक्त्वैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणः. This adhyaya, Krishna is really doing something. He's telling Arjuna, Madarpanam mam namaskuru. He's unabashedly or clearly telling Arjuna, I am divine. He's indicating it. He did not do this till now because Arjuna was not ready to hear it. Now he's ready because Arjuna's doubts have disappeared and he's now in a receiving mode. He says, sacrifice unto me. Man mana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Sacrifice unto me and unite with me through your mind. Myself supreme, you shall know, experience, and find. Bowing to me and with love, when me alone you adore, then for the divine union, you shall open the door. Krishna is saying, you will be the one who is opening the door for the divine union. When you offer, Krishna says, to the divine, sacrifice everything to the divine. You will experience me, you will know me, you will find me. And when with love completely you offer to the divine, Krishna says, you will open the door. Don't we say Atithi Devo Bhava? Yes. Yes, I think is the screen frozen? I'm not able to. Hari Om.
Hari Om ji. It was frozen for a moment, but
Sorry.
now it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, please. Yes. Can you hear me now? Yeah. So Atithi
Yes.
Devo Bhava. Atithi Devo Bhava. We have heard of that, isn't it? What does this mean?
That
Yeah, Aditi ji?
a guest, that a guest who is coming at our home is
Yes.
equivalent to God.
So we respect the guest and we invite the guest and we treat the guest as like a god, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we are very, what we can say, best of best hospitality is offered. But here Krishna is saying Atithi Deva only is waiting as a guest on the door and we are not opening the door for him. He is saying you will open the door for this divine union. So who knows, knocking, how many times Krishna is knocking and we are not opening the door for some reason. For some reason, no, I'm busy. He'll come and do a lot of cut. I don't want him right now. Later on. Well, this happens so many times. Krishna is saying, you will open the door for this union. So this is something, the first call, the first hand should be raised by man towards the divine. He should call out to the divine. He should seek the divine. That is something which is very important. But that is something which is not so easy, isn't it? Most of the time. The small story, complete with that. There was a king, he was drowning. All his courtiers were trying to save him, shouting, King, oh Raja, give me your hand, give me your hand. But he's not giving his hand only, and everybody is afraid that Raja is going to drown. That time his wise mantri comes and he says, Maharaja, take my hand. Immediately he takes the hand. Everybody are surprised. Why? What happened? He was going to drown. Why did he listen to you? He said, our king, he has the habit of only taking. He doesn't have the habit of giving. So you were all saying, give me the hand, give me the hand. So he did not. He would rather drown than give his hand. This is something which happens to many of us also, to the divine. We're not having that habit of making the call at all. That is something which we'll have to change if we want to realize what is the way of bhakti and realize what are the other experiences that are waiting. So with this, I think we can conclude. If somebody can summarize, that will be nice. If you can summarize what we saw today. Anyway, it need not be exact summary also, whatever you feel. Anybody? Yes? Yes, Chaitanya ji?
We started today discussing that there are three, the paths of karma, knowledge, and bhakti or shraddha. They cannot be different. They are interlinked, and you cannot ignore one and say I will only follow one and not go with other paths because all three of them are necessary. And that's why I think Krishna also said that my true devotees, they always do their karmas, do their karmas with full shraddha and focus on me. And that is, he is not eliminating any of the paths when it comes to describing the true devotee. So, yeah. He also had made his promise that if you actually, walk on this path with full shraddha and love and devotion, I will take care of things. You don't need to be fearful about things, that what will happen if this doesn't work out, or what will happen if something doesn't happen as per what I'm trying to think. He's saying that even if the bad situations come, I will be there to take care of it, but you need to have that, full shraddha and devotion towards me. Then he also said that I am the eventual receiver of every sacrifice, and you can offer any even small thing to me with love and sacrifice. I mean, with love and shraddha, I will still take it. I'm not so when saying this is not that we are contradicting with shastras. They have their own meaning and reasoning. But if you if you're I mean, it is more about the way you are offering anything. It's not about any process or something. If you are offering something with full heartedness and with all the shraddha, he said, I am going to receive it. And it doesn't matter whether you're offering to any form of mine or directly to me, I'm still going to receive it, so I'm not going to discard it. And once you start doing this with, you start doing all of your karmas with this feeling, you're going to eventually become mukta, because you are not going to be worried about the results, as he has been always telling that don't think about results. But also at the same time, you don't have that fear of failure and everything, so you are actually kind of become mukta from all of these things, and you're going to do best do your karmas in the best possible way, uh, because you're doing it just with the focus of doing in a best way, not trying to worry or think about the other things. Then yeah, I think yeah, he also said that the transformation that can happen to even the most evil of the person. So if he decides to turn towards me with full shraddha and love, I think that can happen to even the worst of the people, whatever they may have done. So that is also possible. So, and I basically here to call from any of the from any. I mean, you can be born to in very you can be born in a very unfortunate situation, or you can be in a very difficult situation. You may not The surroundings may not be very good, but still, if you call me, I will hear to that call. And yeah, and once you start moving on this path, the soul of that person, I mean, once you overcome your adverse nature, that the soul of the that person will be purified, and his karmas will start eventually aligning to the divine wish, rather than that person initially how we think that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You will Those will start get more aligning towards what divine wants you to do, rather than what you wanted to do. Then yeah, he that's why he said that if you I mean, if you want to, you yourself, you can open the door of this divine union if you move ahead with this path, with this approach. And this is a possibility that, I mean, he, as you said, that the first effort has to be from our side to reach to divine, and then divine will help us out in this way. And there was also, I think, the point of about, I mean, what you seek. Sometimes some people seek think about pitas, or sometimes they think about some devoting to some
Spirits.
yeah, spirits. They eventually go to that dream. But those who are directly concentrating, or those who are directly devoting to me, he said, though, they will directly come to me. uh, yeah.
See, yes, I think absolutely. And that is a very important point of without seeking, God cannot intervene. The best example is Krishna and Arjuna's dialogue only. First Adhyaya, Arjuna is in depression, venting out his frustration, asking so many things, giving so many examples, talking about Shastra, talking even blaming the savior, the one who tried to avoid the battle at all times. He said, Krishna, was it for the greed of wealth that we agreed to take part? Who is asking this? Arjuna, who is sincere, who is honest, who does not have. But this is how the mind gets plays games. What is Krishna doing? Stoic silence. It's as if he's like a wall, or very silently just listening, not a single word. Even the first word he says in a neutral manner. This is not how like an uncle will tell a young child, no, something like that. He says, no, klabhyam masma gama partha. This is not good behavior. That's all he tells him. But then when he says, how Krishna, how can I behave right? How? What is it? That time also he doesn't answer. When does Krishna start imparting the message of the Gita? Anybody? That what was the magic word?
When Arjuna says that I need your help and I'm not able to understand what is the right path to it.
Yes. The call was made, isn't it? It was verbal. He said, look, he said, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava pritchami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yat shreya syan nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. The warrior, the mighty one says, I'm afraid. The wise one says, I'm confused. I don't know. And that comes the act of surrender. He said, Shishyasteham, I am your Shishya, you show me the way, show me the direction. Pruchhami tvam dharma sammudachit. I don't know what is the path of dharma only right now. And who is this? It's not some teenager, isn't it? Arjuna is a father of a teenager actually. Or probably even his son has crossed the teens right now when he is in this battle. He's a big man. And look at Arjuna. But there also the humility. And also, of course, Arjuna took a lot of time, isn't it? To completely surrender. Means that also shows that surrender, though by words, surrender by kruti, surrender by chitta, surrender by thoughts, all these are different aspects. But somewhere the journey should start. If the journey doesn't start, how can you even think of a destination? The journey is a long one. Surrender is not one moment. I'll wait for that moment. That moment will come, then I will surrender. No moment will come. This Janma will pass like that. People say, I'm too busy for the Gita. When they are very young, they say, I'm too small to read the Gita. When they are married and they have their households to look after, they say, I have household to look after. Now I cannot read the Gita. Then their career is getting settled. That time they say, my career is getting settled. Let me settle my career. Then I'll study the Gita. And when the career is settled and now it's time for retirement, they say, let me just retire for some time and then, because my children are also having their children, so I'll have to give them guidance. Now is not the time to read the Gita. And then when they are very, very old, they say, I'm too old to read the Gita. What has happened? Life has gone in that. The call is never made. Many times this is the biggest problem. Just because the call is not made, the divine cannot intervene. Many times divine wishes to intervene, divine tries. Moments come, golden moments come in life, we turn them away. We say Atithi Devo Bhava, isn't it? Like with a lot of utsaha, the divine comes to our doors. We close it because our times are good. Because things are very nice. Now I don't need you, God. I don't need you. And we turn away those moments. Sometimes there are very clear indications. Sometimes there are subtle omens of these moments. And that is why when the moment comes, we must grab it. So with this, Aditi wants to ask something?
Yeah, I want to ask that divine comes for what? Like,
Comes for what?
what
Means
purpose? Like you said
divine
that.
is there always, isn't it? I'm saying the
So,
moments come for raising our consciousness. We get a choice. Like you say, example, now you are in college. Professor says this is one particular topic which is very interesting, and he even says, Ki, chalo, this is something worth researching. You're like, "Arey, this is boring. I don't want to research it right now." And so you don't look at it. What happens afterwards? You miss that moment. No, you could have learned it. But if you had grabbed that moment, who knows? You would have even got. I know one person who got the best internship in the biggest organization just because of the right moment being grabbed at the right time. He did not want to go to the conference, but he liked that way the person was talking. He went, he talked to him. He said, I don't know much about your subject, sir, but I like this so much. What can I do? What can I read? He said, read this, and they remained touch on mail. And look at what has happened. So the professor didn't come for that, no. The professor didn't come. Why did the professor come? Didn't come to give him the moment. He was there, but the moment was utilized. So that is what I meant when divine is coming. He's not like salesman, no, on the door, ding dong, bell ring. Hi, I'm divine. I want something from you, or you please purchase subscription plan, insurance. No, Yogakshemam Mahamyam. My policy is best. Please subscribe to my policy. I'm better than Anya Devata. No, it's not like that. Divine is there at all times. As Krishna said, equidistant, not so far away. But this is Maya, what we saw previously, the way of Maya, how it is. We turn it away. That is where the problem happens. So we should not, we should grab onto the moments because they become our lifeline towards the higher consciousness. They become what we can say the simplest sutra for us to hold on to. When you hold on to it, watch the transformation. Dr. Arun Tiwari, Professor Arun Tiwari has written Wings of Fire. He talked about his golden moment with Kalam sir. His entire life got changed. He was sitting in the DRDO library reading about metallurgy. That is all Kalam sir saw him do. And he was saying, why is this? This boy was sitting at a time when most of them were not in the library. He was sitting at a time which was not, it was not required, and he was reading something which was a little out of the syllabus. But that Kalam sir said, what are you reading? When he explained, he saw his interest. And then the entire story, that's a beautiful story of his, a great Guru Shishya story only, like Krishna Arjuna. He then went on to develop some beautiful, in the missile launching, he had developed one beautiful alloy, which was considered unthinkable in India given the technology at that time. Then his guru says, you see, Guru Shraddha is so important. His guru says, after launching a missile, he says, now do something in medical field. Everything is so costly. Kalam sir told like that to a mechanical engineer. If we look at our mind, logic will scratch our head. I'm a mechanical engineering person. How will I enter into medical kshetra? But no, Guru Shraddha. I asked him, sir, what did you do? He said, I did a jugad. All engineers are good at jugad. So I didn't learn the entire field of medicine, what was required for me. And you see, with while working with one more very eminent scientist and cardiologist, he developed what they call Kalam Raju stent. He named it after his guru. So what has happened again? Moments came, isn't it? They were always available, but we have to grab it, is what the main thing is. To grab that, we must be receptive. To be receptive, we must have this tendency of focusing on the inside, becoming aware, becoming conscious. So that is why Gita's Marga is talking about dhyana also, bhakti also. All this make us more receptive, more aware. Hanuman was like that only. Manojam Marutulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam. The one who had controlled his Indriyas was also the wisest among the wise. And why is he known? Sri Rama Dutam Sharanam Prapadde. He is a Duta of Rama, Dasa of Rama. So the Dasa of the divine is not a slave of the world. Instead, that person is the Raja of the world who has overcome everything, all the other inefficiencies in the soul, in the individual. So with this, let us conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyid dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tatsat. Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. Jai Shri Krishna. Punar Milama. We'll see tomorrow. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Namaste.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om Ji.